What's going on, guys? Welcome to Stock Watch Sunday. Good to see everybody came in a little bit earlier. And if you're visiting for the first time, welcome to Own the Chaos. This is my channel where I talk about stock trading, being an entrepreneur, being your own boss. Basically, I'm trying to get you out of that 9 to 5 seat that maybe you don't want to be a part of anymore. And if not, you just want to hang out to maybe earn some extra side hustle money or what have you, well, this is the place to be as well. So again, my name is Brad. I trade penny stocks primarily. It's been a little bit slow in the summer for penny stocks, so I've also transitioned into trading some other stuff as well. And also, I have a barcast which will go up tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time, where me and my business partner Christian, we talk about our struggles, our successes, and why we love being an entrepreneur. And it's all done at a famous bar in Baltimore. It's called the Horseshoe Cayman on Saloon. I highly encourage you to check that out as well. Now, if you are looking for a community to learn how to day trade with, I invite you to check out WeTradeHQ.com. The links are down in the description below. It is my company that I've built with my partner Jake, and it's a really great platform. We've been taking strides into making upgrades, and it's really just coming into its own, I think. And so something that I'm really proud of, and a lot of other folks who are tuning in right now and leaving messages on the chat there, it's really I don't know, it's an awesome community to be a part of. Almost 5,000 members from around the world learning it and growing and celebrating each other's success so that no matter what you're trading in the market, We Trade HQ is the place for you. So let me welcome some folks here. Alan, hey, thanks for the donation, man. I really appreciate that. Wow, pretty good turnout so far. Bob, Matt, good to see you. Hope everything's all right with you, Bob. Bob's in my morning mentorship, and just recovering from some health stuff. So good to see you in here, man. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Look, what's going on, Sheila, Ryan, Matt Fuller. Good to see you, man. All right. So the top stocks that I'm watching. So there's going to be some penny stocks, and there's also going to be some big board stuff in there. I actually shorted a stock for the first time ever. Really, I've always, had my bread buttered with penny stocks and never really had to bother with shorting or anything like that. But with the summer being slow for penny stocks, I really kind of wanted to branch out a little bit. Obviously, I have been doing that with trading big award stocks, which I wasn't really a stranger to. It's not like it's that difficult. But shorting stocks was never really something that I ever did. And so when we started talking about Beyond Meat earlier this week, it was kind of like, you know what, this is a no-brainer. If I was going to learn how to short something, this would be it. So going to talk about BYND, why I still think it's going to continue to go further than how it ended this week. And there's actually a pattern forming with BYND. And I'm curious to see if that carries over to next week as it continues to trend down. So let's go ahead and hit it. So yeah, Alan, I really appreciate it. How have I missed this? Yeah, so Weez, good to see you, man. Happy to have you here. Stop by the river to not miss you. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Good to see you, Quick Fox. All right. Let me switch over here. Going to show you my screen. This is our Discord chat. If you're interested in checking out WeTradeHQ.com, I just announced everybody that was there, so sorry I had that up. Now, I'm going to talk about ARSN real quick. First, ARSN was actually one that I brought up within my morning mentorship first thing on Friday morning. Actually, it's been brought up within the mentorship as early as 0002. Has closed on Friday at 00096. Now, in case you haven't done the math, that's well over a 400% gain so far since we have been chatting about it within my morning mentorship. And if you're curious about the private chat that I have, which is the morning mentorship, the links are down in the description below. Lots of folks in there that are actually in the chat live with me tonight. Really love that part of the services that We Trade HQ provides, and we absolutely kill it. It's been awesome. Even though it's been summer, it's been slow. I've been getting DMs out the wazoo, and from people that I didn't even realize who were actually finding success, and it's been pretty awesome. So, anyways, with ARSN, what's going on with it? Well, this has been one that's been a thorn in a lot of people's sides. If you bought into this earlier on, made a pretty decent profit on this one though, way back when a reverse merger was announced between ARSN, and Yingling Ice Cream. Now, if you're from the East Coast, maybe parts of the Midwest, you're probably familiar with Yingling Ice Cream. You're probably more familiar with the Yingling Brewery, the Yingling beer. Yingling Lagers is kind of a staple here on the East Coast, especially in Pennsylvania, Maryland, maybe parts of D.C., Virginia. I don't know how far south it goes, but I know it goes down at least that far. They're America's oldest brewery, and so they have an ice cream, ice cream business as well. And so they are looking to take that public with ARSN. They already have done that. And so they started coming out with some news recently, and this is August 1st. They announced that David Yingling of Yingling Ice Cream and Yingling Brewery, and Executive VP of R&D, and Rob Borad as Chief Operating Officer of Yingling's Ice Cream. So, things are moving. Things are actually seem to be taking place here. I think that we could still continue to see more from ARSN. And it looks like management is finally, being put into place that makes more sense for the company. This has kind of been a big struggle since February. Anybody who decided to stay in ARSN, me personally, I traded it from 01 area to about 03. Made a quick flip on it. Wasn't anything crazy. But, obviously it started to trend down. You could tell that there was some dilution, conversion of notes going on. So it wasn't anything that was all that attractive until recently when it started to make a move back up. So if you can see here on the chart, it looks like on the daily that 0115 seems to be the pretty tough resistance for it. Now, if it continues to go up and break up over 0115, we could see a nice move to at least a penny and a half, maybe more, depending on what catalysts might come about, especially now that we have newer management with ARSN. And as you can see on the KST indicator, it's looking pretty good on the daily chart, as well as Bollinger Bands. It's riding that upper band. We go to the 30-minute chart, and it kind of tells the same story. It's just started to cross over on KST, but honestly, I think that we can still see this continue to make nice moves up. Again, breaking that resistance around 0115, and then again at 014. I think it could definitely have potential here to make some strong moves as long as dilution stays off. Now, we talk about this a lot of times about dilution and how it can impact the stock, and we've already seen that even in the big board space with BYND and their recent offering. That's what's kind of been the issue with ARSN up until recently. And so the last couple of days, last 3-4 days, we've seen really no dilution going on. That I haven't seen much conversion of shares. And so I think as long as ARSN keeps that at bay, and we can see a really nice move. Sometimes when they turn the faucet off, the dilution faucet, that in and of itself is a catalyst. And so now that they're coming out with other catalysts on top of the fact that they're not diluting anymore, I still think that there's room for ARSN to run. It seems as if, and I can show you again, it seems as if we broke that resistance at 01. And, even though it closed at 9.6, I thought it was a heck of a close. It looked like there's probably just some people that were pretty baggy getting out of here in this area. But it was definitely nice to see it move up over 01. Now, I got in this one on Friday. I personally wasn't patient enough, and I actually got in a little bit higher than I wanted to. I got in around 009 flat. So I'm just barely green on this one. I honestly was a little bit skeptical when it was first brought to the group within the morning mentorship around 002, but I do know that folks within our group that got in at 002. And honestly, that's the beauty of my morning mentorship. I talk to folks all the time about, how it's one of those things where I don't try to just teach people to buy things that I'm buying, right? The morning mentorship is one of those things where I try to just show people how I find my strategy, how I'm able to find success, so that you can go off and do it on your own. It's not necessarily that you just have to buy everything that it is that I'm buying, or anybody else for that matter. We want you to make decisions on your own and just kind of go through the proper steps of due diligence that you need to do to make sure that you're getting into something that you understand and that makes sense. Been able to straighten out a lot of people that bought into things that were a terrible mess because just somebody told them to buy it. and that's not what we're all about. We're trying to teach people to buy things, and just because you get into something that I wasn't, I don't care. As long as you went through the proper process of due diligence and buying into something that made sense, that's all that really matters. Somebody within our group made $2,400 last week on DCGD, and I didn't talk about it once last week. So definitely an awesome thing to see from our folks in the morning mentorship. So again, if you want to check it out, links are down in the description, and I'll move on to the next one. So the next one I'm going to talk about that I think is worth taking a watch is APHD. This is one that looks like it had a pretty significant drop and really kind of like a bottom chart. You could see that it was pretty oversold on the lower Bollinger Band here. KST starting to turn back up on the 30-minute chart, and the daily chart tells a little bit of a different story as well. This has seen some pretty nice moves on the daily chart. If I may, I can draw a nice little horizontal line here to show the support here. Now it's starting to show signs of a reversal on the daily chart. So this could be the makings of a nice little move, and so that's why I think it's worth watching. I haven't bought into this one yet on APHD, but I think that if I can continue to see momentum on Monday, I might have a decision to make on this one. Definitely one to continue watching is APHD. Let me check in with our folks to see if we have any other questions. Just joined, Matt. Yeah, so Matt just joined the morning mentorship as well. I'm super excited for you as well. What's up, Andrew? One of the regulars. Good to see you, man. Glad you were able to make it. Okay, so APHD, ARSN, those are the two penny stocks that I'm watching this week. Again, with the summer being the summer, it's one of those things where there's not much moving up in this point. But if you guys have any questions, you want to bring some penny stocks for me to kind of cover as far as from a due diligence standpoint, I'd be happy to do that. So make sure that you're dropping them within chat here as well, as I always try to address everybody's questions and kind of cover some stocks as well, that you're bringing to the table. Just try to dissect them a little bit, get a good understanding of the potential, and then kind of go from there so you can make a decision on it. Next one I want to talk about is JUNG. Now, people are probably scratching their heads and they're like, am I on the right channel? Yes, you are. You're on the right channel. But JUNG has been making some amazing moves. Now, one thing that I've been talking about within my little closed group is that, there's definitely potential to make quick little day trades, especially if the penny stock world is not moving all that much. And it really hasn't been in the summer. It's pretty characteristic of summertime for the OTC. But, I think that with JUNG, it's been offering a lot of potential. We've seen some really significant dips, and we talked about this last week with the Fed cutting rates and what would happen. Honestly, I made a terrible trade on JUNG the day that they cut rates. I threw all of my technical analysis, everything that I knew, out the window, and just because I saw the rate cut happen, I bought into JUNG thinking that gold was going to go off that day. Well, I was wrong, and I was a day early. But nevertheless, I made a bad trade on that day and made up for it the very next day. So made up for it. I got in the 70s, was able to make a nice trade off of this one as it almost crept up to the 52-week high on JUNG. Now, it came all the way down here. This is the 30-minute chart. Came all the way down to $66. I really liked it at around 78. And then once it broke that, I got really nervous about it. Let my emotions get the best of me. Sometimes that just happens. When you're just trying to make day trades on stuff like this. But honestly, I think that gold, anything gold related or silver related, all the metals, I think we're going to see a trend upwards in the very near future, as it's already bounced very hard, especially after the Trump administration announced more tariffs on China. And that's what really caused this to go berserk the very next day. So this was probably around, 1 o'clock Friday. Was it Friday that they announced it? I think it was Friday. So anyways, 1 o'clock Friday, they announced that the Trump administration was going to, potentially implement more tariffs on China. The trade war wages on, and that's really what's getting gold moving. I'm not quite sure that it's the rate cut just yet that's impacting gold and metal prices, but I think that it was more so the trade war talks that are creating this bullish movement on anything precious metal related, and gold is right up there. I've been talking about the actual ticker symbol GOLD, and that's definitely one that I have my eye on as well. JNUG's been making some more volatile opportunities though, and not to say that GOLD hasn't, but it just feels as if JNUG has been delivering here a little bit more than some of the other gold related stocks. Now, if you guys are trying to be a little bit more privy to a more affordable stock, I think GOLD, again, ticker symbol GOLD, will definitely be one that could be in your wheelhouse. But honestly, JNUG made a move from $66 to $85, just about $84 in 2 days. That's a 25% move, and that's still a hell of a trade. For anybody who was able to get in the 60s and sell up into the 80s, that's a hell of a trade. I mean, penny stock or not, percentage matters. So a lot of people try to get their head wrapped around the fact of like, oh, this is way too expensive for me. But if the percentage is there, the volatility is there, then that's all that really matters. So when it comes to JNUG, what am I watching for this week? Well, I'm looking for any sort of pullback, which I think is still going to happen. It's pulled back a little bit into the 80s and kind of settled there on the 30-minute chart here. But I still think it has room to come down a little bit and come down to the previous support level of around 76 and then also 78. I would really like to see it come down to 76. If it comes down to 76, I'm probably going to be scooping it up. It'll almost be a no-brainer for me. If it comes down to 78, I'm going to be looking for a spot to show some sort of confirmation of a reversal off of that 78 support. And we'll just kind of see what it does pre-market tomorrow. I think that, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to be trading something like JNUG going into next week. And, for anybody who wants to hold this long, or anybody looking to make a day trade, I think there's cases that could be made for both. As there's economic instability happening and a lot of people fearful of an economic or a market correction, I think the more that uncertainty arises, the more valuable gold-related stocks are going to be. So having said that, I think that this is definitely one to be watching for, and those are the areas that I would be looking to capitalize on some sort of day trade, or maybe even a long-term swing trade. I would look for it to break over those 52-week highs before I would consider holding it overnight, though. You just never know. Some weird Trump tweet will come out and it'll blow your whole plan out the water. So, and it's just a fact, whether you're a Trump supporter or not. I mean, none of this is political. It's just a fact that when a president comes out and says, hey, we're going to impose more tariffs on some other country, it's going to impact the stock market. So, it's just the facts of life. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. And again, this is another one that was impacted by President tweeting out about tariffs was Apple. Apple relies heavily on a lot of Chinese imports, and so and really exports as well. A lot of Apple's business involves China. So if China is going to be throwing down with the U.S. from a trade standpoint, it's going to affect a lot of the tech companies as well. And we've seen this already previously. And so looking at the daily chart on Apple, there's immense volatility here. It started to make a nice move back after it gapped down. Lots of people capitalized on shorting this thing after its run up from earnings. And so it's offered more opportunity here as well. I'm actually going to be looking at Apple to see if there's areas for me to short it. I don't know if there is now that it started to make that nice reversal, but we'll see. I think that if it can hold up over 209, it could be nice. But honestly, given the uncertainty with trade talks, I think that we'll see this move back down. And so I'm looking to probably short this if it breaks the support here at 204. If it breaks the support here at 204, I'm looking to probably short it there and cover probably somewhere around 170 or so. And see if that happens. Now, again, I just told you guys that I'm relatively new at shorting, but it's something that I'm quickly becoming addicted to. And I don't know if it's just because it's something that's different that gets me a little bit excited to see, just see myself be a little bit more successful at something that I haven't, really done before. But I think this is going to be a good opportunity for me. It's been working pretty well so far when it comes to my trades on BYND. And so I'm going to try to see if it makes a lot of sense for Apple. Now, again, this is going to depend on market sentiment and how people are feeling about the trade talks that are going on with China. But if they're still looking pretty bleak, I don't see how Apple can sustain up here over $200. I really just don't. So I'll be looking for this. Obviously, I'll still be paying attention to all of my indicators. If I can see that KST is starting to turn back down, and even looking at RSI, if it's screaming a little bit, and as you can see here on Bollinger Bands, it's actually riding that upper band quite a bit. So starting to show some signs of overextension on a daily. So we'll be looking for some spots here to try to see if I can short this, in the coming week. Before I go to my final stock here, I see a lot of people if you guys haven't given me a thumbs up, I certainly would appreciate it. Just further show support for the channel. So, and I'm providing all this for free. So if you could give me a thumbs up just to say thanks for giving you some info on trading stocks, or just giving you a watch list to watch for the week, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up. And thanks for all the support, guys. I appreciate it. Alan, Louise, Galibra, all you guys. Thanks so much. I see a couple of people asking about tickers. I'll definitely get to those in just a sec. But first, I want to talk about BYND. Now, this is a little bit interesting. This is one that I've been most excited about pretty much all week. It's just been, printing me money over the last 5 days. Now, if you guys weren't privy to the previous video that I put out on BYND and why I honestly felt like this could be the beginning of the end for it, at least in the short term, we talked about how they came out with an offering and are continuing to dilute the stock, and the offering was priced at $160, which is still well below what it traded at and closed at on Friday. Now, the reason I have this set up here, you're probably like, what are all these blue lines? These are some really weird looking columns. Well, the reason is because, like I was telling at the beginning of the stream here, was that I noticed a pattern with BYND. Now, this is a 30-minute chart, and this is Monday, right after earnings call, and the reaction, basically. So July 29th, you could see how it gapped down and had a nice little run up. And right around lunchtime, it started to work its way back down. It started to bleed down, really started to sell off. And you could see that again the very next day. Market opens. You could see how it runs all the way up to around lunchtime. This is 11:30 p.m. or 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And then it continues to bleed down. This is when I would short it. I would short it right around lunchtime because it was just money. And I just started to notice this pattern. And I told my folks within the morning mentorship that this pattern is something that I think you really want to keep your eye on. And I don't know if anybody really capitalized that or not, or if it was just me, but it was a no-brainer. I mean, right around lunchtime would show up. After the short little burst of buys came in before lunch, and then I would just start shorting the hell out of it. I would short it all the way down here because that's exactly what would happen day in and day out last week. Again, August 1st, a little run up, and this didn't even make it to lunch. The high was at 11 a.m. and started bleeding all the way back down, and it started to come up a little bit towards the end of the day, but it still wasn't anywhere near the highs of the day at the close on the 2nd, and it really just kind of chilled out on Friday, and Friday was kind of a weird trading day anyway, but you could still see where it ran up at least a little bit on Friday, up to 180, and still kind of closed around 178, but came down as low as 174. So this is an interesting pattern that I thought was worth taking note of and worth sharing, that I'm curious to see if this continues to happen going into next week, as well, as I think that this could definitely bleed down well below 160. I'm thinking that it could even go down as 130, 120 even, because of how everybody feels about, the offering and all that stuff. I think it's extremely overhyped as far as BYND is concerned. There's a lot of people that overhype this because there haven't been a lot of IPOs going on. And honestly, I think that they tried to treat this as if it was Tesla, something along those lines. We haven't seen many IPOs, and the IPOs that have come out have really kind of been shitty. The only one that I could really think of as far as me personally that saw a lot of value in was Zoom. Ticker symbol ZM was one that I really felt like was the only IPO out of all of them recently that had any quality to it, and that really kind of showed. BYND doesn't have those same properties as far as I'm concerned. And there's a lot of competition. We already know that Impossible is really on their heels, and so they got to do something. They can't just keep putting out offerings and and not really turning a real profit. They got to do something in order to continue to get this going. I mean, the market cap is much larger than something like a Macy's, for example. Macy's has a smaller share structure, brings in about $25 billion, and that's with a B, a year. Beyond Meat brings in $88 million a year as of last year, and that's not anything close to what Macy's has, and their market cap is much larger than that of Macy's. So, I don't know. I just don't think that Beyond Meat is there yet. Maybe they'll get back there to the 250 or 240 range when it actually makes sense for them to be worth to be there. But right now, I think it's going to continue to downtrend, and definitely look out if you guys are looking to potentially short something. This looks like one of the easiest stocks to short right now, period. So check that out. All right, let me get to some of your questions. Those are the stocks that I'm watching this week. Jen, I appreciate the donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Anybody who donates to the channel, I always like to make sure that I'm giving them some extra love. So thank you so much. I do appreciate that very much so. So, and I forgot Bob too. I just saw Bob's there. For some reason, I thought that was Alan's as well. Bob, thanks so much, man. Sorry, I skipped over here. That's completely my fault. I see Michael here. Been seeing a lot of chatter on TCELL. Sorry, Brad, didn't do my full homework on it, but I know they have filed to go current and changing ticker. I saw you mention on Discord chat. Yeah, Michael. So I did mention TCELL, and I actually should have put it on today's watch list as well. So let's take a look at that real quick. So TCELL is one of those ones where I always tell people, 000 stocks should always be treated as a lottery play until they're not. Until it's not because once it gets to 00 range, and what I mean by that, once it's no longer 000 whatever cents per share, in this case it closed down at 0.007 cents per share. Once it gets to 0.001 cent and higher, it's a completely different stock. It just reacts differently. It just, it doesn't act like a 000 any longer. And so as long as it's priced at 0.007 or 0.008, we've even seen it get as high as 0.009. I honestly thought we were going to break out of the trips last week because this stock is super thin. So if we go looking at this from a fundamental standpoint, you can see that share structure is quite high. If you're not used to trading stocks that are this low, you would look at this and probably pass out by seeing these numbers here. But honestly, for a stock that's trading at this level, it's fairly decent. It's kind of run of the mill. But having said that, the way that it's been reacting lately, I would say TCELL is probably much thinner than a 1.9 billion. As far as the float's concerned, I wouldn't say that there's probably 1.9 billion in the float itself. I think the float's much smaller than this number here, and you're probably asking yourself, well, why don't we know the float? Well, it's because we need to get them current. They're looking to get themselves current. They've already announced in several PRs that they're looking to get themselves current. They're doing a ticker symbol change as well as a name change. And so that is why there's a lot of chatter on TCELL. Their company name is going to be Extra Bitcoin, as you can see here. And so they're going to be a cryptocurrency related stock. They're looking to have their ticker symbol changed to Extra. So they announced that merger is complete. They're just looking to get themselves current, and so I think that's why I still see value in this. I'm still holding TCELL, and it's been trading very, very thinly. You're looking at level 2. If this had significant volume coming in, it would have blown the doors off of everybody. But that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on for some serious volume to come in. Right now it's been moving up like this on very little volume, which I think is a pretty good sign. There's a significant catalyst that arises on TCELL. next week or the week after, I think this thing could skyrocket. But again, understand the risk here. It's 000 stock. Okay? Always treat it as if it's a lotto. You know, anything that you get down in here, you can play 000 stock, or you can play the lottery. I think your chances are about the same, honestly. You know, that's really what it comes down to. So understand the risk and take that for what you will. All right. Let's see here. I don't know, Quick Red Fox. I don't know the answer to that question. Could you call NKW, tell him to hurry up? Yeah, I would love that. Steven, 25 million float too large at 19 cents. CHMJF, I think that's the ticker symbol. No, 25 million float is very small. It's a very small float for something that's traded at 19 cents. That's a pretty good share structure. Right. Shorting puts is safer. Yeah, I'm sure there could be arguments that could be made for both. TT. I'm not like the best at options, so I'm probably not the person to ask question about that. But we do have folks within our WeTrade HQ space. I would highly recommend Young Money Investments. I've seen that Don Francho has also gotten into options, and Profit Room. If you guys are interested in any of those folks and you want to learn more about options trading, I would take a look at them. So if you guys want to go over to WeTradeHQ.com, right to our homepage, those folks are there for you. So you can go and view all mentors. And just to kind of give them a little bit of a shout out, I would look at Young Money Investments, Don Francho, and the Profit Room for all of your options needs. Connor is very good at what he does too. If you guys know of Connor over at Boiler Room Trading, he's also a mentor at WeTrade HQ, and African Emporium also is good at options too. So feel free to check out any of those. So you have Don Fran, Young Money, Profit Room, and African Emporium. Those are all what I would say probably pretty proficient in options trading. Connor is very good at momentum trading. He's pretty good at all around, type of trading, if you will. Obviously, I'm your penny stock guy. If you have any questions about penny stocks, as I'm trying to expand my repertoire as well on some other stuff, but we're all at certain different stages of learning, right? We're really good at one thing, and then we kind of branch ourselves out to try to see how good we can get at some other stuff. So definitely check any of those guys out if you're interested in learning anything new. As like I said, when it comes to options trading or anything like that. So let me see if there's any questions about some tickers here. Andrew, BYND offering is to let early investors out. Company is selling 250K shares. Early investors are selling 3 million shares. Shame they're going to fleece existing holders. It is a shame, Andrew. And I kind of was trying to, allude to that in the video that I put out earlier in the week. It was on Tuesday's video about BYND and how I do think that it's going to continue to drop. You want to learn about how to short something, and like I said, I think that's a good one to learn how to short on for sure. Almost kind of a slam dunk short, if you ask me. Did I cover TCPP? I did not cover TCPP, but to be honest with you, TCPP I don't think is, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's one that would last to continue. If you're in TCPP, I don't know if it'd be one that I would be consider doing any kind of long-term swing trade on it. Opinion on ATVI. ATVI isn't anything that I've looked at. Let's look at the chart. So anytime I'm looking at something, I'm going to first look at the chart and then kind of go from there. I'm going to look at the chart from a technical perspective, and then I'm going to go and look at fundamentals to see if any of that makes sense. ATVI looks like it's actually starting to break out here. So this is the daily chart, and it looks like it's had a pretty tough resistance here. Just looking at basic technical analysis here, that it's breaking out. So you could see that there's a pretty tough resistance at $48, and then over the last couple of days, it's made some nice moves up over $51. And honestly, it looks like it's pretty free and clear until it gets, if it breaks 51, 52, could see a nice move to 50, 57, and then before that, I mean, there was the serious gap down. So, if it continues to break out here, could see a nice move from a momentum standpoint. Now, if we add in some of the other indicators that I like to use, and again, this is on a daily chart, so I don't know if you're looking to day trade this or what, but from a longer term perspective, if you're looking to swing trade this, it looks like it's starting to break out here. All signs are pointing to that there's a potential breakout happening on ATVI. So good observation here to bring to the table. I think that a lot of folks could see some value here. That I think there's definitely a confirmed breakout happening with ATVI from a technical standpoint. Now, if you guys are interested in this, you want to check out news on ATVI. That's right here on WeTrade HQ. So you can click on the news tab when you go to search any of these tickers. And as you can see here, Walt Disney, Activision, Blizzard, Kraft Heinz, and other stocks to watch this week. So there's other articles in relation to your particular ticker. So, I think that there's definitely good things about, ATVI as far as, technical analysis is concerned. We could definitely see a nice little break up to possibly $60 from here. So we'll see. I'm looking for a confirmation. If it can hold this support and starts to show more signs of momentum here, then I would say that's probably a good trade if you're looking to make a trade here on ATVI. So good question. Do you think Pred continues to make higher highs this week? I think Pred does. We'll see. Let's take a look. Let's pull up Pred. Pred's been one that I've told you guys that I am long-term invested in. And so I'm not really concerned about the day-to-day. But you can see that there was yet another short attack on this thing. And it's just been super frustrating for a lot of longer-term shareholders like myself. But it's also lent itself opportunities. Now, I told folks that 160 has been, and I've said this for several weeks, that 160 has been the mainstay for this as far as support's concerned. Every time it touches 160, it bounces very hard off of those levels. Absolute bottom is 160 for Pred. So if it gets down below into that area, it's almost a no-brainer to scoop up. I haven't been adding there personally because I have so much of Pred right now that it wouldn't be a smart idea for me to continue to just fill my portfolio with Pred and nothing else. But having said that, if I had the opportunity or if I saw an opportunity to grab Pred at these levels, I would be scooping them up if I could. You could see here on KSD indicators just starting to cross on a daily chart. So it looks like it's going to be making a pretty nice move back up as long as, the BS stays out of it. That's been the big problem. A lot of people trading this emotionally and not understanding or looking at the management that's involved with Pred. I still think the uplisting happens. It's just a matter of when, not if. PCTL has been a huge pump. PCTL has been a huge pump, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I mean, it's all over Twitter. All over Twitter. It's dangerous, I think. I'm not saying that it won't go. And as Andrew pointed out, waiting 8K on deal closing dilution seems about done. Should be interesting this week. And I think that he's right. I think that this is going to be something that you would wait on to see how it reacts if you're not already in. If you didn't get in down here, in the low dubs or even in the middle double zero range, and you're looking to buy at this level, I think that's really risky because there's so many people, there's so many eyeballs on this already. So I think that getting in at this level there could be a certain level of risk just because you have all these people that bought in before you. And that's something that you need to be cognizant of. The thing is that if the float had already been bought up and rotated out, maybe that's a little bit of a different story, a different argument that could be made from there. But if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, should I get in? Especially if you're a beginning trader, I don't know if this would be the one for you to just get in as a beginning trader. KSD indicators looking screaming hot. Obviously, you can see that on the daily chart, Bollinger Bands are It's kind of riding the upper band here. It's settled out a little bit, created some sort of consolidation over the last couple of days. But look at all this buying that happened previously. So these are all the people that are holding this from the 00 range as it's gone up as high as 2.7. Some of those have probably sold off. So there's definitely some potential to possibly get in. But understand the risk. So if you're looking to get in at these levels, then perhaps I would scale yourself in. You know, if you really see value in PCTL, you know, I'm not going to tell anybody not to buy something, but just understand the risk. You know, anytime you see something like a PCTL and there's just an insane amount of chatter on it, it's usually people that are trying to get out of it, you know, because they've already bought in extremely low. Anybody bought in at the 002, 003 range, you know, they're already sitting on several 100% gains. And so they're trying to get the hell out at this point. You know, looking at security details, you can see the share structure is very good at these levels. Latest news, there hasn't been much disclosure here. We're looking at an 8K that came out on the 18th. Binding letter of intent, recently incorporated Canadian company. So this is the one we talked about, I think, last week about being uplisted to TSX, which is Toronto Exchange. And so right now, like I said, I think there's a high level of risk getting in at these levels. If you're looking to get into something like PCTL, I would wait for some sort of pullback, a little bit further than what it's pulled back already. Maybe if it comes back down to a penny flat, I would consider it less riskier than getting in still at these levels after it's already gone up a significant amount. But as Andrew said, if an AK comes out that offers a huge catalyst with huge potential, it could definitely move. With that share structure, it wouldn't take much to send it. So CMGO, I mean, CMGO has just kind of been stagnant. I mean, I don't know what you want to look at as far as I put in the chart. CMGO, I don't know. The company's still there, but I don't really see where it's going to pay off to be buying at this level either. I just don't see it. There's not much. It's just downtrending. You can make an argument that it's starting to turn up a little bit here, but on what? Honestly, there hasn't been much on CMGO. They need to come out with a significant catalyst before anybody takes them seriously again. So, let's see here. So I see people just kind of throwing tickers out. If you could give me some sort of, you know, something else besides just thoughts on, insert ticker here. I would certainly appreciate it. But, okay, let me see. I'll cover one more. So I see somebody talking about ZENA. I've seen that more than once. So ZENA, we'll look at that one. ZENA. I don't even see that. ZENA. Well, it's not on WeTrade. Let's see. Pull it up on Thinkorswim. Sometimes I got to venture off if I can't find it somewhere else. If it's not on WeTrade, and it doesn't look like I can find it here on Thinkorswim either. Oh, it's on the TSX. Yeah, I don't have access to the TSX to be able to look it up. Thoughts on the market in general? I tell you what. Yeah, let's talk about that. So I think it's a very important topic. So thanks, G. I appreciate you asking that. So my personal thoughts on the market overall. We are due for a correction. There's no doubt about it. And I think the correction is starting to happen. We saw S&P 500 come down over the last several days, especially since the rate cut happened. With the trade wars going on, and there's a lot of instability between even just like Iran. People, I don't know if people have forgotten about what's going on in Iran, but Iran ain't happy with the U.S. or really anybody that buys oil from them, except for probably Russia. So with all of that going on, I think that the market could be in for a rocky road, but that doesn't mean that you can't make money in the stock market. A lot of people think that just because the market comes down that you know, oh, well, there goes my trading career and I can't make any money. That's wrong. That's false. There's plenty of opportunity in a down market as there is in a bullish market. And so I wouldn't be too concerned with what's going on a day-to-day. I would be looking at bigger picture. You know, you never bet against the U.S. economy, whether it's going to go down or up, even in the recession. Do you know how many people have made a buttload of money from 2008 to now? I mean, the market's tripled since then. So, which is insane. Those are insane numbers, considering where it came, how long it took to get to 8,000. It went from 8,000 to 26,000. It's just been an amazing move as far as the stock market's concerned. And so I think that right now we are definitely due for a correction. And it's only going, the correction, everybody sees it as a bad thing. But honestly, it shows the health of the economy. It shows the health of the future of our economy. And so I think that we just need a correction. We just can't keep going up and up and up and up and up like this. It has to happen. There has to be a pullback. We talk about that with any other stock, any other penny stock, any other regular stock. Pullbacks are a sign of health. When you see a pullback and then it continues to move upward after that pullback, that shows health. It shows the health of a company. It shows the health of a stock. And so, you know, nothing is linear in the stock market. And so it just can't keep going up in a straight line. It just can't happen. So we got to see some sort of decent correction out of the market. And I think we're just about there. But again, you know, I'll be here. I'll still be trading. If you guys have questions about that, how to continue to make money in the stock market in a down market, I'm not going anywhere. So be sure to continue to stay tuned to this channel and subscribe if you're not. I see that there's some folks that are complaining because we have quite a bit of folks tuning in and still not enough thumbs up. So if you're tuning in, if you're watching right now, just push the thumbs up button. I mean, how hard is that? It's not hard. So I would appreciate it. It would show me a lot more support and just get my name out there for new people to see. So I'm not trying to be a secret to be kept. So please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content such as this. And again, I'm really excited about the barcast that we have that we put up every Monday. So if you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur, interested in running your own company, or you know, no matter how big or small, I mean, we're really coming from a small business standpoint. But you know, if you have some insight of your own, if you are a business owner, I would certainly love to hear from you guys, probably the most. So go ahead and tune into this barcast. I certainly would appreciate it. And that is it for me, guys. Again, thank you so much. If you're in the morning mentorship, I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And if you're not, check the links down below. So that's it for me, guys. As always, I will see you all before the bell. And B Smith is out. Have a good one.